A man stood on the green sunlight shining off his gold-plated golf club. The audience clapped, the camera flashed, and Gordon Vale, the pride of the Hudson Hills Country Club, smiled like a king. But as he lifted his club to swing, something changed. His hand shook, his body stumbled. Seconds later, he collapsed in front of everyone. People rushed forward, but Rex, Hudson's loyal canine partner, was already growling, nose twitching, senses on high alert. This wasn't just a tragic accident. Something darker had just unfolded beneath the perfect green grass dot the Hudson Hills. Country Club was known for three things: luxury, exclusivity, and silence. Its gates only opened for the rich, powerful, and connected. Members played golf not just for sport, but for business, secrets, and status. So when Gordon Vale, the club president and a former golf champion, dropped dead during the club's annual charity tournament, it wasn't just a tragedy, it was a scandal waiting to explode. Vale had everything: a fancy mansion, a glamorous wife, and a seat on every major board in the city. But he also had enemies. Some whispered that he cheated during tournaments. Others claimed he used the club's private funds for personal gain. A few even said he knew too many secrets, and that made him dangerous. That Saturday morning, the weather was perfect. The crowd was buzzing with energy, the press clicking photos, and Gordon Vale stood in front of the final hole, ready to make the winning shot. As he reached for his personalized golf club, he smiled at the cameras. But as he lined up his swing, his smile faded, his hands trembled. Then his knees gave way. In seconds he collapsed, gasping, then silent, no blood. No wounds, just silence. At first, everyone thought it was a heart attack. He was 58, fit, but still, it made sense. The medics rushed in, trying to resuscitate him, but it was too late. His wife, Miranda Vale, stood frozen. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just watched. Some said it was shock. Others weren't so sure. Among the crowd, Detective Charlie Hudson and Rex had been invited as VIP guests by a local sponsor. It was meant to be a relaxing day off. But Rex, trained to detect danger, immediately sensed something was wrong. As the crowd circled Gordon's body, Rex growled softly and walked away from the green. He sniffed through Vale's belongings, his towel, his cart, and then stopped at the victim's drink bottle. He sat and stared. Hudson picked up the bottle. Carefully. "Something wrong, boy?" he asked. Rex barked once, short and clear. To anyone else, it was just a dog noise. To Hudson, it was a sign. He handed the bottle to the medics. "Run a tox screen," he said. Now, back at the station, toxicology confirmed it. Vale's bottle contained a rare but deadly poison, almost untraceable. It mimicked a heart attack, broke down in the body within an hour, and could only be detected if you knew exactly what to look for. Someone had planned this murder with care. They knew how to hide it. But they didn't count on Rex. As the club shut down for questioning, a cloud of suspicion spread. People whispered in corners. Phones were quickly wiped. Security footage was accidentally deleted. Even the staff seemed too afraid to speak. And most suspicious of all, Vale's caddy was gone. No one saw him leave. No one even remembered his name. Hudson walked through the empty locker room. Vale's locker was half open. Inside, his golf shoes were still neatly placed. His extra gloves were untouched. But something was missing: his backup golf bag. "You think he took it?" Hudson asked Rex, who was sniffing near the bench. Rex barked twice and scratched at a corner tile. Hudson crouched down and pulled at it. It came loose. Behind it was a flash drive, taped to the wall. It had no label. Hudson turned it over in his hand. "Looks like Vale had secrets of his own." Outside, the media was already spinning the story. "Golf tragedy," one headline read. "Beloved businessman dies unexpectedly," but Hudson knew better. This wasn't about golf. This was about power, revenge, and buried truths. And the more they dug, the more the country club's pretty mask would begin to crack. Next up, Hudson and Rex would have to track the missing caddy, decode the flash drive's content, and ask, who really wanted Gordon Vale dead? And how many others were in on it? Asterisk beneath the polished charm of the Hudson Hills Country Club. Something started to stink, and not just to Rex. The club claimed they had nothing to hide, but every answer felt rehearsed, every smile stretched a little too tight. As Hudson returned with the toxicology report in hand, the mood among the staff shifted. Conversations hushed. The club's manager, Alton Kerr, offered a forced handshake and a fake laugh, saying Gordon had a weak heart, maybe it just gave out. But Hudson wasn't buying it, and Rex never stopped watching people's feet. Rex tugged his leash toward the cart garage where Vale's golf cart had been cleaned just a few hours ago. At first glance it looked normal, but Rex stopped beside the passenger seat and sniffed the floor mat. He barked and scratched, a signal Hudson knew too well. Lifting the mat, they found a used glove with a faint chemical stain. Hudson bagged it instantly. Something had spilled or been poured on purpose. Hudson turned to Kerr. Who last touched his cart? Kerr swallowed hard. That would have been his caddy. The new guy, real quiet. First day on the job. Name? Kerr. Paused. I don't think we got his real name. The golf club's background checks were suddenly full of holes. Security claimed the caddy used a temporary ID, no last name. No full application. Just a smiling photo and a forged reference number. Hudson knew then this wasn't just a sloppy system. Someone helped the killer walk right in. Meanwhile, the flash drive from Vale's locker opened a different kind of door. Inside were hours of hidden recordings, conversations taped without consent. Vale had been spying on club members. A quiet confession about financial fraud between two board members, a heated argument involving secret lovers, even a shaky video of someone receiving a cash-filled envelope behind the wine cellar. Vale had secrets on everyone, and that made him dangerous. Hudson and Rex reviewed one video twice. It showed Vale standing alone in the club's locker room, talking to someone off camera. You know what you did? He said. If I go down, you go with me? Then Vale looked up as if surprised, and the video cut off. The time stamp. Just hours before his death, outside, Hudson noticed the crowd thinning. The club's vice president, Edgar Baines, hadn't shown his face all day. The same man Vale had fought with last week, witnessed by multiple members, though no one wanted to talk about it now. Rex, however, had his own methods. He led Hudson straight to the trash bin near the golf carts. Inside, covered in grass and sweat, was the missing backup golf bag. Hudson's eyes narrowed. It had 2 bottles. One was sealed, the other open, half empty, and reeking faintly of the same chemical from Vale's glove. Hudson didn't need more proof. Someone was hiding? In plain sight, they returned to Miranda Vale, Gordon's widow. She sat calmly in the VIP lounge, sipping iced tea like nothing had changed. He was a complicated man, she said. He loved this club more than he loved his family. Maybe that's what killed him. Her words hung in the air like perfume sweet, but dangerous. Rex tilted his head, his ears twitching as he paced near her chair. Then he barked twice, sharply right when her phone buzzed. A text lit up her screen for a second. He's gone. They won't find us? Hudson didn't say anything right away, but he looked at her differently. Vale wasn't just murdered by an outsider. Someone close to him knew it was going to happen. Maybe someone who wanted his empire and freedom more than his love. The case was no longer about poison. It was about betrayal, and somewhere out there the silent caddy was still hiding. Or being hidden, asterisk the deeper Hudson and Rex went into. The club's secrets? The more the walls began to bleed stories dark, ugly ones hiding behind silk curtains and well-ironed uniforms. The Hudson Hills Country Club wasn't a retreat, it was a mask. And behind it lived ambition, fear, and dirty deals signed over wine and whispers. Gordon Vale didn't just die because someone hated him. He died because he knew too much about. People who had too much to lose. Rex sniffed out the first real crack in the facade behind the employee lounge. There, hidden under a cabinet that hadn't been moved in years, was a tiny lens, one of many hidden cameras. It was part of a private system Vale had installed himself. Not security cameras. Spying cameras. Watching locker rooms, offices, and even private suites where club executives thought they were alone. Tech experts from the station helped extract footage. What they found made even hardened detectives uncomfortable. One clip showed Vale in a closed meeting with Edgar Baines, the club's vice president. Baines slammed a file onto the table. "You don't want to cross me, Gordon. You're playing with fire." Vale responded coldly, "Then burn with me. I've backed up everything." Another video showed a different side of the Scandaland affair. Miranda Vale, the grieving widow, wasn't just sad. She was involved with someone much younger. A rising golf star named Trent Marlowe, who had mysteriously dropped out of the tournament the day of Gordon's death. Their relationship had been passionate, and dangerous. Vale had discovered it just 2 weeks earlier and threatened to expose them both. A club cleaner, finally breaking under quiet pressure from Rex's sharp stare and Hudson's calm voice, admitted something small but huge. "Mr. Vale told me to dust everything twice last week," she whispered. "Said he was being watched, that someone was following him around the course. And he warned me, don't trust the one in the blue tie." Only one man at the club wore a blue tie every day. Alton Kerr, the club manager. Hudson returned to Kerr's office. Rex walked straight to a side cabinet and began pawing at the bottom drawer. Inside, dozens of shredded papers and one small metal object, a thumb drive. It took hours to recover anything from it, but when they did, the truth sharpened. Vale had been blackmailing several club members using the footage from those hidden cameras. He had dirt on Baines' illegal land deals, on Kerr's silent theft of funds, and on Trent Marlowe's steroid abuse covered up by the club. He didn't want money, he wanted control. Vale wanted to own them, own everything, and one by one, they began to turn on him. But who actually slipped the poison into his drink? That part still didn't fit until they got a call from forensics. The glove found in Vale's cart wasn't his size. It was too small and not made for golf but for handling chemicals. Fingerprint traces revealed it belonged to someone unexpected. The assistant manager, Lorna Teague, had been with the club for years. Quiet, reliable, invisible. She knew everyone's routines, passwords, locker codes. When Hudson confronted her, she broke. Tears ran down her face as she said, "He threatened to ruin me. Said I stole money, but it was him. I kept the books clean. He changed them, then blamed me. I had no choice." She didn't deny poisoning him. She only said, "He took everything from me. I just took it back." But Hudson wasn't convinced she acted alone. One final piece remained unsolved. Who hired the fake caddy? Lorna didn't know him. Kerr denied knowing him. Baines disappeared. After his name showed up on Vale's recordings, Hudson stood by the quiet golf course late that evening, the sunset painting everything gold, but the beauty felt fake now. Rex sat beside him, staring at the horizon. The club was bleeding secrets. And Vale was just the first to fall. The real question was, who would be next? The sun had barely risen when Hudson returned to the course. It was eerily silent, the kind of quiet that only follows a storm. The country club had reopened as if nothing had happened, members sipping morning coffee, the sprinklers ticking in rhythm, and the murder of Gordon Vale already slipping into whispers. But Hudson knew this. Was the calm before a final? Violent truth. He watched Rex circle near the clubhouse maintenance, shed-nosing the ground, tail stiff. Then suddenly Rex stopped and barked low. Hudson pushed the old wooden door open, revealing the scent of oil, mold, and something sharper sweat. Tied behind a stack of cleaning carts was a man, unconscious but breathing, clothes muddy. Hands cut. Hudson leaned down. It was him, the fake caddy. They rushed him to the station. When he woke, he said his name was Raven, and no, he wasn't a caddy. He was a former groundskeeper who had been fired by Vale for reporting illegal pesticide use, chemicals that poisoned the club's garden staff. No one listened. Vale had buried the reports, erased his name, and blocked every job reference. Raven was left homeless and angry, but he swore he didn't kill Vale. "I was just here to scare him, maybe steal some footage." I never touched his drink. He had snuck into the club through an old gardener's tunnel and found Vale's locker already broken into. That's when someone had hit him over the head. "They knew I was coming," he said. They used me as the perfect fall guy? Hudson's eyes narrowed. There had been someone else, someone who knew Vale's schedule, knew the secret tunnel's existence, and had access to the poison bottle. The question wasn't who wanted Vale dead. It was who had turned the club's rot into a perfect crime. Then something clicked. Hudson reviewed the locker room footage again and paused. The time-stamped video from the locker room, the one that ended suddenly? It cut off not because of battery failure, but because it was overwritten. A pattern of camera control commands was embedded done remotely. Only one person on staff had the access code to those surveillance feeds. Edgar Baines, Hudson stormed into the vice president's office. But the desk was empty, gone, drawers pulled out, computer wiped. Rex barked and led them to the underground wine cellar. There, hidden behind stacked barrels, was a broken tablet, one that matched the club's camera control system. Alongside it, they found a second pair of gloves, this time with fresh traces of the same rare poison Vale had ingested. Baines had been Vale's longtime rival, the man Vale had blackmail footage on, and the one who stood to gain the most from his death. With Vale gone and his enemies panicking, Baines planned to seize full control of the club in silence. Everyone who knew the truth, but Hudson and Rex were faster. A manhunt started. Baines' car was found abandoned outside the city. Rex picked up the trail through woods, across rocky terrain, until they found him near an old training course. Baines tried to run, but Rex launched, taking him down before he reached the riverbank. Back in interrogation, Baines finally broke. "I didn't mean to kill him," he hissed. "I just wanted him ruined." But he pushed, always pushed. "Saad, I was nothing without the club." He was going to release everything, so I made sure he'd never speak again. As Baines was cuffed and led away, Hudson stood quietly outside the country club. The morning breeze was soft, but the green grass, once so clean and beautiful, now felt like a crime scene that had always been there, just waiting to be seen. And Rex? He sat proudly by Hudson's side, staring out at the 18th hole. The game was over. Justice had won, but the question still remained: how many more secrets were buried, still untouched, beneath that perfect lawn?